Welcome to the Color of Fragrance, and I'm your boy, Vonnie EC, and today I have a very special fragrance that I want to talk about, a fragrance that I feel like deserves a little bit more attention that I really don't want to talk about because I really want to keep it to myself. But when you prop yourself up to be a fragrance reviewer, it's like you make a silent oath to give people the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you got to tell people some of your secrets. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for, to put people on. So I got this fragrance, man, and I feel like, me personally, in my personal collection, I think that as far as freshies go, this is one of the best freshies in my collection. You know what? I don't really want to compare it to Imagination, because I just made a video about Imagination, and we know how a lot of us feel. Like those of us that love Imagination and rock with it, as far as the profile of it being a freshie, the performance and how it break down, I don't want to compare this to that, but in some ways it is some comparisons. Not necessarily in the way it smells, but as far as comparing it as far as characteristics, like this is a freshie. And as far as lasting power, performance, just as good, probably better. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm better. I think it's better. Now, do they smell the same? Absolutely not. So yes, this is one of the best, long-lasting, well-performing, well-projecting, fresh fragrances that I ever had. It's fruity. Matter of fact, let me just introduce it to you. The name of this fragrance that I want to introduce today is called Sultani by Arabian Oud. You can say Sultani, but you know I like to throw the little accent on there. Sultani. Sultani. So yeah, this is yeah, man, it's one of my top fragrances, dog. It's one of my top fragrances. See, this is where it gets hard, because this is what I say. Every so often, I play this little game to where I try to pick out 20 fragrances. I try to pick out 20 and be like, okay, these are 20. If this is all I can take, this is it. But it's so hard. It's hard. It's hard doing that. And but I can tell you this one, it's definitely gonna be in that lineup for sure. So, Sultani by Arabian Oud. I really rock with the house of Arabian Oud, man. I got like 8 or 9 bottles, maybe 10 by now. Somewhere between 8 and 10 bottles by Arabian Oud, man. I love their house, love their fragrances. You know, I think they, as far as from what I've come across, I could be wrong. You know, like I've said before, or at least what I think I've said on this channel. You know, the fragrance hobby, the world of fragrance is never ending. It's infinite. You'll never smell everything. So with that said, I think, at least to my nose, from my experience, I think Arabian Oud is one of the top dogs when it comes to Middle Eastern fragrances, especially when it comes to making original compositions. We know, you know, the Middle Eastern fragrance house, they got the game on lock when it comes to clones and dupes, but Arabian Oud, when it comes to original compositions, and just what they got to offer, their presentation, I think they one of the top Middle Eastern fragrance houses. And they got bangers, man. And this is one of them. Sultani. This is a very fresh, fruity fragrance. It smells like it got ambroxan up in here. I'm not sure, but what I can detect is definitely the fruits. I can't really detect what fruit that they're using, but it's just, it's fruity. But it's not prickly sweet, but it's fruity. You definitely gonna smell that fruit. You definitely gonna smell that sweetness in this fragrance. It's something that's musky. You know, one thing I notice about a lot of Middle Eastern fragrances, they all have this one part in the DNA. It's like this dryness. It's like this dry dustiness. You know, and you can catch that effect, it seems like, in all different fragrance profiles. Whether it's a gourmand, whether it's a Oriental style fragrance or a freshie or whatever, you smell that dusty, musky dryness. You know, this got a touch of that. You know, I just smell so many Middle Eastern fragrances. Like when I smell this, it's that little part of it that's a familiarity to me when it comes to Middle Eastern fragrance houses. So yeah, man. So that's what I smell. The fruity aspect. I don't know if it got ambroxan in it. It might do. And that dryness, musk, whatever it could be. That's what I detect. But we're gonna go to Fragrantica real quick and we're gonna break it down. And we're gonna see what's really up in here. Cause you know, I'm trying to get better at detecting notes. You know, I probably can detect the first 2 or 3 notes that might come to mind, but I'm trying to get better. That's something that's the direction that I'm going in on my fragrance journey. I want to get more into studying notes, but that's a whole nother conversation. So anyway, top notes for Sultani: cardamom, pink pepper, red berries, bergamot, tangerine. Yeah, I can see that. The cardamom, the freshness, I can see that. And the fruit, I can't detect them separately, but I can see the effect. I can see the effect with all those mixed together. I can definitely see it. So yeah, middle notes: damask rose, freesia, lily of the valley. To be honest with you, I'm not the greatest at detecting florals. It just all depends on how much the florals stand out. You know, of course, I can detect rose. Now, can I detect damask rose in this? Not necessarily. You know what? The floral aspect of this is so well blended that I can't necessarily detect florals, but I know the florals is playing its part to where it's just well blended. However they got it in this fragrance is in there. You know what I mean? But I can't detect the individual notes or the so-called notes. And the base notes: white musk, said musk, amber, sandalwood, and patchouli. Now, can't necessarily detect amber, sandalwood, or patchouli. I can't, you know what? This, now that it says the sandalwood, I can see that effect. You know, I can see that effect with this fragrance. I can see it. Can't say that I detected it, but I can see it. The patchouli, well, you know, one way that patchouli is made in fragrances, or the note that's used in fragrances, is usually the dirty style of patchouli, which I actually like, but I don't smell no dirtiness in here with the patchouli. But so anyway, you know, this fragrance is well blended. Now you definitely can smell the fruits, and I know that a lot of the fresh component come from the cardamom. But yeah, these are the notes right here. And like I said before, this is a fruity fragrance, as you can see, fresh. Has a sweetness, but it's not prickly sweet. And we see the bottom notes: the white musk, the ambers, sandalwood, and patchouli. Like I say, a lot of these notes is hard for me to detect separately. That's because it's so well blended. It's a very well blended fragrance, and it's a very long lasting fragrance. Story time. I was coming back home from out the country, and I'm trying to see, I guess my whole trip from where I was coming from would be 13 hours altogether, right? So the day that I was leaving on my flight, I left on a Tuesday, got back home on a Wednesday. So that Tuesday night, before I left my Airbnb between 7 o'clock and 7:30, I sprayed this on. So sprayed this on, went to the airport, went through my flights, arrived home. Between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon the next day, I was at Walmart, and I'm checking out in the self-checkout line, and it was a young cat. He probably about 50 feet away from me. Like he had to walk towards me, but he was a little distance away. So he came by me, and he was like, "Hey man, I don't mean no harm and no disrespect," but he was like, "Man, whatever that is you got on, man, I can smell it, and it smells good." And I'm like, "Man, you can smell this?" You know what I'm saying? I'm still tripping. I'm like, is he talking to me? You know what I'm saying? Because I had put this on the day before. So what is it? From 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Well, so let's just say from 7 to 3. What would that be? 20 hours later, 20 hours later, somebody still telling me they can smell this. So he was like, yeah, man, that smells good, man. What is that? So, you know, me being who I am, I don't try to gatekeep fragrances. I pulled out the phone, showed him what it was, told him the name of it, told him, you know, showed him where he can find it at, and put him on game, because that's what we here to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's when I realized how much of a powerhouse this was. And I knew it had lasting power. I already knew this fragrance had lasting power. The first night I got it, I remember spraying it on my hand, and I went to sleep, woke up 6 hours later, I'm still able to smell it, like really good. And I ended up going to the gym. I think maybe I sprayed like one spray on the back of my neck. And I just remember that day that I was wearing this. Because sometimes if you're a person that like to wear fragrances to the gym, most of us that wear fragrances to the gym, we wear lighter, fresher fragrances. And sometimes when you get in the middle of your workout, your fragrance is kicking. I'm pretty sure, you know, other people can smell it, but you might become anosmic to it. Not with this. I remember that day, that whole time I was smelling this while I was working out. You know, after the, you know, you didn't drop sweat and all that, I'm still smelling this. This was kicking. You know what I'm saying? So, but I really learned about this lasting power that day I was in Walmart, the day I landed from my overseas flight. And that just let me know how powerful this is. And this is a freshie. This is a freshie. You can wear this. You can wear this. I mean, this is a very versatile fragrance. This is really not a place you can't wear this. You know, you can wear it through all seasons, any occasion. Office, gym, baby shower, club, brunch, rooftop. You can wear this anywhere. Real talk. This is a dope fragrance, man. This is a very, very dope fragrance. And it's so dope to me that I had to get a backup bottle. Yeah. And really, once I realized how good this was, because this is 100 mil right here. I forgot, this might be a 200 mil, either 150 or 200. But once I realized how good it was, I'm like, damn, I should have got this bottle in the first place. And it was just that good to me, man. And I don't really be buying backup bottles like that. This is, as far as I can think of, this is the only fragrance to which I got a backup bottle, because it's that damn good to me. So, hey man, I'm putting y'all on to something, man. Sultani by Arabian Oud. You know, to me, from last time I checked, the average price for this, it might be somewhere around $200. You might, if you look, you know, you might see some 200 plus, or you might could find something for under $200. I think I got this for under $200, maybe 170, something like that. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like it's worth it. Even if you're a person that's not, you know, you iffy, because you got people who, you know, $200 for niche fragrances, 200, 250, that's an average price for bottles for the most part. So even if you're one of those people who iffy on the edge for paying that much for a fragrance, I'm telling you, you would not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed, man. This is a very beautiful fragrance. This is one of those fragrances I will always have in my collection. And this is one of the best blind buys I ever bought. Top 5 blind buys. Yeah, for sure. And what did I hear about this fragrance? Yeah, like it ain't a lot of people talking about this fragrance. It's some people talking about it. If you type in the name, you're gonna see some reviews about it, but it's not hype beast though. And I'm surprised it's not. And actually, I'm glad it's not. I'm glad it's not. So, yeah, it's my best. I personally feel like it's my best freshie in my collection. When it comes to smell, performance, or longevity, in my performance, I'm probably one of the best ones I done smelled ever. You know what I mean? As far as like liking the smell, but the longevity together, like I can't think of no other fragrance that a fresh fragrance, they got this type of lasting power. So, hey, that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's what I wanted to put y'all on. I felt real good making this video, man. You know, I felt real good making this video because I love this fragrance. So hopefully y'all go ahead, tap into it, see what it's all about. If you can get you a sample, I'm not telling nobody to blind buy nothing. You know what I'm saying? I blind bought it because this is what I like. But that's the decision that I made. But you know, I will always tell you, I would always say, get you some samples, man. If you can get you a sample, but all I got to say is I blind bought it, and it's one of my best blind buys. So we're gonna wrap that up. That's it for today. Vonnie EC, the color of fragrance. Thanks for stopping through. Till the next time.